Hi there, this is a video on the Temps Utile Eurorack module, which is a do-it-yourself 6-channel trigger clock generator. And it's a really cool module, and I wanted to show some of the features I find fun and useful. So let's get straight into it. So the module has 6 trigger outputs, 2 trigger inputs, and 4 assignable CV control inputs. So what I'll do is just go through a demonstration of a few of the modes that I particularly like using. In this case, we'll use an external clock source to trigger the temps, but you can use your own internal clock source. This can generate its own internal clock. So we'll get a clock running in from yarns here. So you can see straight away that each channel is getting a trigger input, and by default it is set to each channel to accept a clock from trigger 1. So let's do channel 1 out into the gate of elements. So you can see there, or here rather, that it's just a straight clock source going from here through temps into the elements. So the first mode I wanted to cover was the multiply divide mode, and that's pretty straightforward in that you can divide or multiply the clock source that's coming in from your chosen clock source, which it can be either trigger 1 or trigger 2. So we've got divide from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 12, 16, 24, 32, 48 and 64. Likewise, you can go and multiply that signal. So let's just make it a shorter signal so you can hear what's going on. So double, triple, so on and so forth, up to 64. And now, like we mentioned just before, you can CV control most of the parameters in this. So what we might do is use this attenuator here, and then we can set a CV control to say CV1. So we'll use CV1. So now we're using this to select whether we're dividing or multiplying the incoming clock. So that's pretty cool. Now the next mode I wanted to go over was the random mode. So that works by having an incoming trigger. So the random, if it's set to 0, all triggers coming through will play continuously. If we set it to 31, which is the highest point, no triggers will come through. And then anywhere in between, it will randomly drop off triggers. So the lower the number, the more of the triggers will come through. And then the higher the number, more of the triggers will be dropped off randomly. And in most, I think all of the modes, you can also set the multiplication or divide. So we could make it sort of a lot faster or slower. So that's the random mode. Then you've also got a Euclidean mode, which you can set the bar or the beat length, the phrase length. So you can set that from anywhere from 3 up to 32. And then you can choose the amount of fill of the beats that fill in that phrase. So 3 beats out of the 25 beat phrase will be filled, and you can push that up all the way to 100% or anywhere in between. And then also you've got a Euclidean or Euclidean offset, which means that the beat phrase that is being filled, you can offset those beats at 1 beat increments, which is something that would be cool to do, maybe running an LFO into the CV control input there, and then you can sort of morph or change beats over time. Now the next mode that I really like using is the sequencer mode. So the sequencer mode, you can have 4 different user patterns for each of the channels. So you could have 4 completely different patterns or sequencer triggers per channel, so they are independent. And what you can do with this is set that sequence from anywhere from 4 going up in individually incrementally by 1 up to 16, and then you can drop off triggers. And you can see here I'm offsetting that rhythm as well. So let's make it something fun, like a 11 or something. And you can hear that sort of happening there. So let's just do a quick demo on building up a few other tracks at the same time, and then you can get an idea of what this sort of thing can do. This will just be a syncopated rhythmic bass sort of thing based off the Temps Utile. So we'll use the elements, we'll use some of the spectrum here, and a DPO, and then we'll use as a fourth source a drum from Braids. So now what we'll do is get channel 2 out of the temps. Let's put that into a Euclidean mode, maybe something like a 13, fill that up a bit. Next up we'll plug in the DPO. So we'll run another clock source into the strike input of the DPO. So let's just sort of see what's going on there. So we'll go back to channel 3 here, choose a different mode. Maybe we'll try a random mode here. Double time, and then we'll make it so maybe half of them don't show up through there. And then we'll bring back in some of our other elements here. And lastly, let's bring in a drum sound from Braids. Run another trigger here. So this is on channel 6, I put that in. So I'll use another Euclidean one maybe. So one thing I haven't touched on is on channel 4, you can put that into an extra mode, which is a DAC mode, and that gives you access to different types of random sources of voltages. So if you have a look in there, there's a few different types there. The most common one would be something like a Turing machine. So that's pretty handy that you could run out to, say, a quantizer or something like that, or to use to CV control a filter or anything you like, really. That's handy, whereas on the ornament and crime you can do that on each of the 4 outputs, but that's not really what this module focuses on. It's worth noting here that you can save everything that you've done into one preset. However, you can't have multiple presets, but to save everything that you've done so that when you power off your module and turn it back on, it will all be there. You click the right encoder and press and hold. Then it shows you up here with the different apps that you have available. At the moment, this is version 1. There's only one available. If you press and hold the right encoder again, and then let go, after a moment, and then let go, it will save that state. So you can turn it off, turn it back on, and it'll all be there. So if there's any other questions that you have or queries, feel free to leave me a comment, and I'll try and answer as best I can. I'll also leave in the description below a link to the website that you can find out how to build these modules, either the ornament and crime or the Temps Utile, and they'll also have links within that on the user manual for more deeper specific questions that you might have that I can't answer. Let me know as well if this video is useful to anyone. I couldn't see any videos specifically on the Temps Utile. It often seems to be more to ornament and chrome. If you like, I can make some more videos like this. Otherwise, thanks for your time. Cheers.